Hello and welcome to Zelda Theory. How's it going? In the Legend of Zelda series, the items are features from the games that make the series stand out from other AAA franchises. There's so many different items in the series, but really besides the bow and arrow and the bombs, you really only see some of them pop up repeatedly, maybe once or twice throughout the different Zelda games. Now with over 30 years of Zelda games and 19 mainline entries in the Zelda franchise, I think it's safe to say that we, the Zelda community, are ready to see some classic items make a return in Breath of the Wild 2. Now who is with me? Let's go ahead and jump into 3 items that I would love to see return in Breath of the Wild 2. So there are a lot of things I love about Majora's Mask. I love the dark vibe. I love how it is a direct sequel to my favorite Zelda game of all time, Ocarina of Time, and I really love how hard the game is. Let's be honest, Majora's Mask is one of the harder games in the Zelda series. Changed my mind. Regardless of what you believe, one of the best items in Majora's Mask, in my opinion, is the Great Fairy Sword. In Majora's Mask, Link can obtain the sword by collecting all 15 stray fairies in the Stone Temple, and then returning them to the fairy fountain in Ikana Canyon. Now, unlike every other sword in the Zelda series, the Great Fairy Sword is equipped to one of the active item slots and can be used even if Link happens to be jinxed by an enemy. Now unfortunately, the sword takes 2 hands to wield, so Link is not able to pull out his shield. Of course, not a problem for our hero, because with this lack of defense, Link is able to counter this by doing 4 times more damage with the sword, easily making it one of the most powerful swords in the game, right alongside the fierce deity sword. I think this sword would fit perfectly into Breath of the Wild 2. To me, honestly, it doesn't even have to be part of the main story. It could be like an Easter egg sort of thing where you just loot it from a chest, or it's part of a certain side quest. Now, since I really don't see Nintendo straying away from the breakable weapon aspect of Breath of the Wild anytime soon, this could put more of an importance on the rarity and the strength that the Great Fairy Sword could potentially have. What do you guys think? Would you like to see the Great Fairy Sword in the sequel to Breath of the Wild? Let me know below. Now, the Zelda series is known for its endless pits of darkness and massive pitfalls that have the player thinking, I wonder what's down there. Wouldn't it be amazing if I could just walk over this instead of going around? Well, that's where this next item comes in for me, the hover boots. Man, oh man, I'm getting so excited just thinking about this item potentially making a comeback in Breath of the Wild 2. Anyways, now that the fanboy of me has calmed down a little bit, the hover boots allowed Link to float over literally nothing for a couple seconds. What really made the hover boots cool was that they actually made you lighter, so if you were walking on quicksand or traps that were pressure sensitive, they wouldn't really hurt Link at all, as Link would just hover right over them. Hence the name hover boots. Like every great thing in life though, there were some massive drawbacks to the hover boots. I remember in Ocarina of Time when you weren't actually airborne, the traction was absolutely terrible, which made Link slip and slide like he was on a slip and slide. Yeah, I really couldn't think of anything else to say there. Furthermore, you really only had a couple seconds while you were in the air, so the experience was, well, it was pretty quick to say the least. I really hope that if we see the hover boots in the sequel to Breath of the Wild, that they allow us to float from one Sheikah Tower to the next, or for a longer period of time. Now, I want to be clear as possible here with this last item. The masks in Majora's Mask were obviously a staple in the game. However, the masks I'd like to focus on are the masks that actually transformed Link into other races in the Zelda series. I think that what Majora's Mask lacked in its dungeons, they made up for with the insane amount of masks that were available. I really loved how instead of like getting the Zora tunic in Twilight Princess, you literally transformed into a Zora in Majora's Mask. I don't know, I just think it would be cool to see this feature return in Breath of the Wild 2. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, thankfully, Breath of the Wild continues on the legacy of the mask tradition by allowing Link to blend in to the enemies like Bokoblins and Lizalfos to avoid combat completely altogether, promising us, the Zelda community, that masks are here to stay for the future of the Zelda franchise. So there you have it, 3 items that need to return in Breath of the Wild 2. I hope you found value here today. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and click on the playlist coming up on the screen in a couple seconds here to see more Zelda content. I'm Derek with Zelda Theory. Continue to be the light in someone's life, and remember, it's dangerous to go alone. I'll talk to you soon.